front of where the old players' pavilion was. So the captain will now do battle. Nikita Miller will have to do a lot of bowling. Here he is. This ball left alone outside the off stump by Joseph. Here he is. To bowl to Palmer. And Palmer is forward, looking to turn this one into the offside. Can't beat the man at point. Some warm-ups. Here is Miller. Flighted delivery. This one is turned away into the onside and stopped by the man under the bat. Be long before we see the introduction of Damien Jacobs. Here is Miller. Forward is Palmer. Can't score. Ball runs to the man at point. He's now at slim it off. Staring in the face of Palmer. Palmer hits this one high and over the infield. And this one now goes for 6. You can't give that ball any air at all. Joseph Palmer, he'll back himself to clear any outfield there is. And he does so again for the second time. And that's 6 runs to Palmer, 6 more runs to the Jamaica Defence Force, 6 more runs closer to that magic number of 104 from a no ball. Here is Miller to bowl to Ottar, who's looking to whip this one to the onside. He does. The ball goes down to the man at long on, and they go through for an easy single. Ottar looks very uncomplicated in how he approaches the batting. Here is Miller to bowl to Palmer, who's back, defending nicely. But he does bowl a lot of his deliveries wicket to wicket. Here he is again, and Palmer is forward and can't score. Wicketkeeper with his hands on his helmet. Here is Miller to bowl to Palmer, and Palmer is forward again. And the man at short cover fields. No, it's Javel Glenn. Here is Miller. This one flighted, driven down the ground. The man at mid-off comes across and fields. That's Christopher Lamont. They can't score. Excellent work by Lamont. He had to come across real quickly there. Joseph really Miller. Top of his mark. To bowl to Palmer, who's sweeping. And did he get a touch off it? We'll wait for the signal from the umpire. It seems as though he did get a... No. He only succeeded in touching it off his pad. And that's a leg by. And the score now moves to 40. For the loss of 140. Is it 40? 39. 40 for the loss of 1 wicket. Top of his mark. Back and punching. And it hits the man under the bat. And they can't score. He saw his partner go off the very first ball of the innings. Of the JDF innings. Jermaine Harrison caught behind of the bowling of Rolando McKenzie. He was bowled off for no ball. Here is Miller. And Palmer is forward defensively. Here is Miller. Nikita. And Joseph beaten outside the off stump. He's looking for that square cut. He's always looking for that square cut. What I like about Joseph Palmer is that he's the type of player who's always looking to score. Earlier when he just started being very, very cagey. Not looking to score much. But since then, he has sort of tried to break the shackles. Here is Miller. And Joseph Palmer is forward in defense. And that's the end of another over. At the end of it, maiden from Nikita Miller. You'll see a lot of that, as I said. They now want to take back what they claim is their title. Here is this ball flighted outside the off stump. And Ottar lets it go through to the wicketkeeper. Who fumbled it is Miller. And this one is whipped into the onside by Ottar. Lovely played. And they go through for 1. They look for the second. Will they get the boundary? This is close. And the umpires are checking with each other. The umpires are checking with each other. It seems they're not sure whether the fielder touched the rope. And yes, excellent sportsmanship from the man at deep mid-wicket who signaled to them that he did touch the fence. And that is what I call... Here is Miller to Ottar, who's forward and pushing this one into the offside. They can't score. Yet very assured. Here he is, letting this one go by outside the off stump. He's barely put a foot wrong all day today. For another hour or so, I'm sure Jamaica Defence Force would feel as though things are going according to plan. He was away all morning long on a frolic of his own, but that's the nature of the man. And that's the end of another over. End of over number 14. At the end of it, JDF, in reply to Melbourne's 103, they are 48 for the loss of 1 wicket. The wicket to go thus far is that of Jermaine Harrison. So they have some cricket in the family.
That's right, Kerry. Here's Nikita Miller with a new over from the George Headley end, and he is into Palmer, who plays defensively to that man at silly point. Down on the boundary at long off. There's a mid-on and mid-wicket who comes into field. This delivery is turned by Palmer from Nikita Miller. Delivery on the middle stump. A man at deep backward square. And a very good day for cricket here.
Ball is driven by Joseph Palmer down to the man at long off. Looks like Javel Glenn, who sends a looping throw back to Nikita Miller. The score now moves to 50. So
correct, and a good time to 50 runs in 94 balls. The JDF soldiers here from up park.
Here is Miller. Flight to delivery, and Ottar is back and turning this one into the onside, and he can't score. Scored some 246 runs with 1 century in this year's competition. 1 century, 1/2 century, average of 35.
Now we see Nikita Miller finally making the change that you alluded to 4 overs earlier. He has taken up the attack from the George Headley end. Stephen Taylor has been removed. He bowled 9 overs for 13 runs with 3 maidens unsuccessfully. However, getting Joseph Palmer to play a few ambitious strokes. Now Joseph Palmer is on strike to the left-handed Nikita Miller, who will be bowling around the stump to the right-handed batsman. Palmer has scored 28 runs thus far. Ottar is not out on 54, and this first delivery by Miller is swept down to the long on region, and the batsmen have made their ground for a single, mid-off and long on. Here is Miller into Ottar. Ottar is driving this ball back up the pitch for Miller to feel off his own bowling. Melbourne team trying to get out one of these batsmen. Now very well set to put in some good work and launch a big total here for the soldiers.
I think for me, what has been instrumental for me, what a break. Rashid Ottar has taken majority of the strike. So if you notice, Joseph Palmer, he has not had to do a lot in terms of, he has not had to face a lot of deliveries. Palmer had faced some 98 deliveries. Rashid Ottar had faced some 80-yard deliveries. No, Rashid Ottar has faced 106 deliveries and Joseph Palmer only 110. Get the feeling that Joseph Palmer has been able to get those singles to get Rashid Ottar on strike, and Rashid Ottar is pretty much handling his business.
That's right, Kerry. The over for Nikita Miller has come to an end. That's right.
Looking to lead his team over the line here with the first for the first innings honors. Here is Miller, and Miller at the top of his mark. Here is Miller, and this ball is turned into the onside again. Sean, what you find is that when Nikita Miller bowls to Rashid Ottar, you can pretty much use only the man under the bat on mid wicket, or the man at long on for the most part.
That's
that
right.
Primarily is where most of the deliveries have been going.
Right. Ottar pulls and cuts and sweeps. He's just playing each delivery on its merit. Wherever it pitches, that's where he looks to score. Again, Nikita Miller, a very, very good left arm spinner. Basically doing what you were saying that he should have done a couple of overs ago. He allowed Taylor to bowl 9 overs on the trot. The batsmen were very comfortable. Actually, you can see where the JDF batsmen are trying to score. However, it is not as easy.
They look a little bit more fluent now. And I'm thinking that if Nikita Miller had taken the ball at the time when, primarily at the time when Stephen Taylor was bowling, he may have been able to unsettle them. They were the man they call Killer, and Christopher Lamont, the man they call Little Killer. Here is Big Killer. And this one is outside the off stump, and appeal gone, caught behind. Nikita Miller claims his first wicket. Joseph Palmer goes, caught behind off the bowling of Nikita Miller, and the score now moves to 96 for the loss of 2 wickets. Nikita Miller has finally broken the partnership. And the Jamaica Defence Force have gotten a little sleeping police at this stage to slow them down. But one believes that most of the work would have already been done by Joseph Palmer, and Melbourne will have to regroup and try to prize a couple more wickets. And one believes you'll see him trying to do that.
Here is Miller, the first delivery to Bennett, and Bennett is back and a bit squared up. The leg side of the field. Here is Miller again in, and Bennett is in defense. And this ball again goes out to the, just to the right of that man at the slip mid-on region. His back not looking too comfortable to Miller, who is up and forward. And this one more solidly in defense is Bennett, in confidence, just as he got the wicket off the, that opener Palmer. Here is Bennett, who pushes his ball into the cover region. He took off for the single. The single was not on, but Bolt, brother of Usain Bolt, misfielded and gave Bennett that single. It all ended up well for the Army men. Miller has bowled 7.5 overs for 14 runs for the solitary wicket of Palmer, who when caught behind 4 deliveries ago. Now he is looking to get out the left-handed Attar, and I'm sure if he gets out Attar, he'll be feeling pretty good.
This ball is turned to the onside by Attar, and that's the end of another over, Nikita Miller. And at the end, a very successful one for him. An over in which he got the scalp of Joseph Palmer. Palmer has been there since the start of the JDF innings. They start their innings immediately after lunch.
Batsman, and with him is Sean Bennett. Here is Nikita Miller from a George Henley end, and this delivery is not played very well by Attar. The fielder at the silly mid-on position picks up the ball and throws it back to his captain, Nikita Miller, who turns again and bowls to Attar, and Attar is in defense and forward, pushing back to Nikita Miller. I think if batsman.
I think it's just that he took a little bit too long to introduce himself, and he pretty much has allowed the game to kind of meander along for too long without him. But now he is back, and he has started to play a part in the game. And Nikita Miller to bowl to Sean Bennett, and Sean Bennett is forward. This ball comes off the outer edge of the bat, and he thought about a single, but he decided against it as a man from point, came across quickly to his left, and coming from the Michael Olin end. And this ball is flighted, and Sean Bennett played back to that one. He played it from his crease. He didn't go all the way back.
Wanted to keep Attar down at the non-striker's end. He succeeded in doing that, and now he has his man to bowl to.
Here is Miller, and back is Bennett defending this one, and the man at slip comes across very quickly, fields. It looks like Stephen Taylor, and lobs it back to Miller. Miller is in no hurry, does his job. Here he is, and this one is driven off the outer part of the bat, and Bennett still can't score.
Yes, of Bennett. There are acres of real estate to his left, which is the onside. However, Nikita Miller is bowling a probing offside line and feet. He's not. He's playing from his crease. So let's see what happens here.
Indeed, again, he's forward. This time the ball on the midland leg stump, and he pushes it back down the pitch. Introduced. Here is Miller to bowl to Bennett, and this one is turned away into the onside, and he can't score. And that's the end of another over from Nikita Miller. At the end of it, the score still stays at 98 for the loss of 2 wickets.
Again, a very attacking field set by Nikita Miller, who bowls to Bennett, and Bennett is forward and driving along the pitch. There is no run scored as the man from mid-on comes around and does the fielding. The 3 runs set by Melbourne in their first innings, being chased down here by the Soldiers. Again, Simon Bennett in defense. He has 1 run from 21 deliveries, turns at his mark. Again, into the right-handed Bennett. who is forward and in defense, and the one of 5 men around the batsman to play and because they are around, and he is forward in defense firmly. First back coming out on the middle, and he takes off for a run, and there's almost a run out. This ball was pushed up to the man Glenn at mid-off, who ran in, aimed at the stumps and missed, and the single was taken.
The field to spread a bit, and it has caused also a little bit more time to come off the clock, which I believe if Bennett was still on strike, they would have been able to get another over in. With this change, Nikita Miller has to adjust the field placement to try and get in a decent delivery or two to Rashid Attar, which it has done so far. And I see the umpires looking at each other as to say this may be the last one. And he's bowled him. He is bowled. Rashid Attar bowled the final delivery before tea. That ball was pitched on the line of the off stump. Attar drove at it. The ball came back sharply, spun through bat and pad, and hit the off stump. Now, Sean, for me, that is something you can't explain. The final delivery before tea, you've done such a good job, and the ball is flighted on your off stump, and you decide to try and square drive that ball.
Bennett is not out 3 from 25 deliveries. This ball is up, and Bennett is trying to force it through the offside. Is not successful. Here is Nikita Miller into Bennett again, and Bennett is driving this time, beating the man at mid-off, and will certainly get a single. He runs off the man. Javel Glenn comes around from long on and does the fielding. A single is taken. The scores are now tied in a cup final. Here is Nikita Miller to bowl to Gray, and Gray is forward and playing in defense. No runs scored. Gray is under by nature, and he is now again forward. A stifled appeal by the Melbourne team. Really just finding out if the umpire is awake, involved there, and obviously not out. Here again, Gray is back comfortably on the back foot and pushing this ball back along the pitch, not being able to score. 103 is a score for 3 wickets. I mean, this delivery has popped up and taken by the man at that silly down position, and appeal goes up, but again not interested is umpire Edsel Mitchell. Along with Edsel is Christopher Taylor.
Caught behind of the ball of Nikita Miller. Then Rashid Attar bowled of the very last delivery before tea. Since then, JDF, they've marched on to 109 for 3. Here is Miller to bowl to Bennett, and Bennett is back and cutting past the man at second slip. Also beating the man at point, who is Christopher Lamont, who gives chase. They go through for 1, they come back for the second. A very weak throw by Lamont, and 2 made. So the score now moves to 111 for the loss of 3 wickets. Cover, backward point, and a deep backward square. This one is cutting past Lamont, and this one will certainly hit the ropes. It's going, it's gone. 4 runs to Sean Bennett.
Very good shot there by Bennett. That ball was sat up and was outside the off stump, saying, "Hit me, please." And Bennett, duly obliged, playing that square cut perfectly along the carpet. There was no chance for Lamont, who is at point to his weaker side, though. But it's down to the Kingston Cricket Club stand for 4 runs.
Nikita Miller, this ball flighted and turned away down the leg side by Sean Bennett. Sean Bennett has looked a little bit more inclined to score since the tea break. His captain, Damian Gray, is with him. A very competent player is Damian Gray. He played youth cricket for Jamaica, bowled a little bit of left arm spin and batted well. He was the opening batsman. Here is Miller. Flighted delivery, and Gray is letting this one go by, and the wicketkeeper does not collect, and it goes through for a bye signal by umpire Mitchell, and the score now moves to 112 for the loss of 3 wickets.
I tell you, the ball went over the stumps and past the keeper for a bye.
Again, He's back and punching this one through the offside is Bennett. They go through for one. They'll come back for the second. Nikita Miller is having a rough time this over. He's missed his length a couple times to Bennett, and Bennett has really cashed in on it. And 2 more to the total. The score now rushes to 117 for loss of 3 wickets. It's going to be the linchpin. Here he is doing battle against Nikita Miller. He's turning this one behind square. They go through for one. They're hustling through his Gray. But Bennett, he was content on getting only a single. To Miller.
And as long as Sean Bennett stays there, he is going to score and score quickly. Again, he squeezes this one behind square and takes off for another single. You have seen some urgency in the stroke play of the JDF batsmen, not taking a lot of chances. They are looking to score when the opportunity has been provided, hitting the gaps, picking the singles, running hard, and you can see they are very urgently to get this score, this lead, up to a sizable total.
Remember I said earlier, Sean, Rashid Attar, in my opinion, was the difference between JDF getting at least, being at least 20 more runs ahead and in taking on any kind of a single that seemed a little bit risky. That being said, Damian Gray is forward to Nikita Miller and can't score. Now moved up to 24. Here is Miller, flighted delivery, and Gray looking to go through the offside. That ball spun a little bit, and he was successful only in getting it down to the man at long on. And they go through for an easy single. Score now moves to 126 for 3. 2 wickets for 27 runs. And his partner at the other end is a man they call Little Killer, Christopher Lamont. He has bowled 14 overs so far, 4 maidens, 29 runs. But he has gone wicketless.
Right. Bennett now to take strike from Miller. He is on 18 from 41 deliveries. He is up to Miller and he's back and punching this one past the bowler, and they get a easy single.
Again, Sean, you didn't see that before, T. Now, Bennett looks to be a little bit more enterprising. I think maybe Rolando McKenzie will be able to get some of those balls coming back at the batsman and maybe hit a couple pads, stumps, and get you back in the game.
Played defensively by Bennett. Again, Miller is in and Bennett is back and forcing this one through the offside. Attempting to run, but there was really no single on. Remains on 130 for the loss of 3 wickets. Miller into Bennett, and Bennett is back pushing defensively. Fielded by the man at Silimidon. And attempts to bowl to Miller. To Bennett, who drives neatly along the ground up to mid-on. The throw comes in and hits the stumps. There was no single on offer. Waits to begin his run. Here he is, into Bennett, who is forward and defending again.
Very nervous as he did earlier. And even in his forward defensive strokes, he looks very assured. He looks now as though he's now looking to score and he's on top. The confidence is there for him in player. And he subdued himself just before tea to ensure that he could be back on the pitch after tea, and has shown a capacity to play some shots.
That's right. I mean, before tea, he got some poor deliveries as well. He latched on to all the ones that were bowled at him, and he got boundaries. That delivery was pitched up. He took it duly and hit it over the top for 6 runs.
I'm sure with the confidence of his team, he will do so. Bowled him. Damian Gray goes bowled to Nikita Miller. That ball was flighted on the line of the off stump. Gray came down the pitch. He tried to play that ball through the covers. The ball spun between bat and pad. And bye-bye, Captain Gray. Nikita Miller has now collected his 3rd wicket. And JDF, they are 137 for loss of 4 wickets. Nikita Miller, 3 out of those 4 wickets.
Consistently. Therefore, they have sent Leslie higher in the order so that he can either score quickly along with turning over the strike so that Bennett can get some of the strike. Bennett, the score is 137 for 4. Nikita Miller has gotten his 3rd wicket again. Again, a brilliant delivery ball by Nikita Miller. Let's see what the umpires have signaled. That ball, again, beat the left-handed Leslie, went over the stump, also beat the keeper. Apparently, he got some bat on it, right? He got some bat on it this time. The runs have been given to Leslie. He gets 2 runs. The score moves to 139 for 4. All game, they are leading now by 36 runs and building on that with another 6 wickets in hand. The batsmen at the wicket are Sean Bennett and Leslie. It's Captain Nikita Miller is bowling from the George Headley end, and he is bowling to Bennett to his back and hitting this one in the vacant mid-wicket area where the fielder comes around. There is only 1 run taken. Is a tall left-handed batsman. Nikita Miller bowling to him, and this delivery is turned on the leg side, and the batsman go off for a single, a very well-run single. The score goes up to 142 for the loss of 4. Still keeping this aggressive field, hopefully to get him out. Here again, Miller is on the line of the middle stump, and Bennett is driving comfortably down the wicket. There is no run. When we look over to the Kingston Cricket Club stand, we see where most of the patrons are. A lot of people here today watching this competitive match between the Jamaica Defence Force and the Melbourne Cricket Club.
What Melbourne has now is that with each passing over, it seems as though the lead just continues to grow. It's now almost 40-run lead, and it's only four wickets down.
Sean Bennett is on strike, and here is Miller into Bennett, and this ball is on the line of the off stump. Bennett is back and playing defensively. The ball runs out to the point region where there is no run. 142 for 5, a lead of 39 runs. The game in the balance right now. Bennett being the difference between the two teams, the advantage after tea.
Well, I'm not sure about advantage because they're already behind the 8th ball with them being in the deficit by about some 30 odd runs. So I think that what they need to concentrate on now, is to try and prize a couple more wickets. Here is Miller. This ball outside the off stump, spinning away from Sean Bennett, and
here by Miller, and the loss of the wicket of Leslie has forced the JDF team to consolidate somewhat. They get a run here, though. Let's see what will be signaled by the umpire. By a signal, that ball that went behind Bennett was bowled down the leg side by Miller. Not some very good keeping there by the wicketkeeper from Melbourne.
Indeed. So here is Miller, and this ball is turned away into the onside by Sheldon Cottrell. Miller, even though he has placed the man at deep backward square, at deep mid-wicket, and also along on to Sheldon Cottrell, he still is not inclined to give that ball any air at all. He fired that one in.
Leslie, here is Miller to bowl to Cottrell, and Cottrell is forward and playing this one on the leg side. Running across the pitch is Nikita Miller, who does his fielding.
I get the feeling that he's itching to go after Nikita Miller, and I'm not sure how successful he'll be at doing that. And Nikita Miller, he is aware that Sheldon Cottrell is someone who can hit it far. If you notice it, here is Miller, and this one is whipped down to the man at long on, and they go through for a single. I think that's the best thing to happen for JDF, for Sheldon Cottrell to come up strike Nikita Miller.
That middle and leg stump line to Cottrell.
Here is Bennett back and playing this one to the man to sell him it off. Is at the top of his mark, coming from the Michael Lowland end. Here he is to bowl to Sean Bennett, and Bennett is looking to drive this one past him. He can't beat him. Miller goes to his right and fields, and the score stays on 152 for 5. Melbourne CC and JDF. Here is Miller. This ball is fired into the mid and leg stump, and that's the end of another over from Nikita Miller. At the end of it, the score is 152 for the loss of 5 wickets, and I think the umpires are signaling for drinks.
Well, we wait and see. Here is Miller to bowl to Bennett, who is forward in defense. A very quick decision to go on the front foot. Bennett has his initial movement was, it seemed to, be on the back.
It seems his initial movement is always to play back. Here he is driving this one, but he can't pass the man at short cover, who is young Mackenzie, who has done extremely well today, Sean, outside of the no ball that he bowled to get no ball that he bowled to Palmer, that bowled him. He has been very, very good in the outfield. This ball is swept away by Sean Bennett, and they go through for one. They come back for the second. The throw comes in, Stephen Taylor from slip, and the score now moves to 159 for the loss of 6 wickets. Yeah, but O'Shane is in your franchise system. So this ball is driven down to the man at long off by Sean Bennett, who's looked very accomplished here today. That takes the score to 40, and the score to 160 for the loss of 6. With him, Rohan Chang.
Miller to the new batsman Chang. He comes up to bowl, and Chang is on the back foot and playing this one back along the pitch. There is no run taken. The total is 160 for the loss of 6 wickets. Again, Miller is in, and this ball is popping up and over the slip region. A run is taken. Very lucky there for Chang. Enough of the ball on the bat to beat the men at slip. Taylor and what seems to be not Nikita Miller. That's Griffith. Taylor and Griffith at first and second slip. Griffith actually just was moved by the captain Miller to that second slip region, and lo and behold, the ball went in that area. However, Chang was very lucky. It is Sean Bennett, the right-handed batsman, on 41, and with him is Rohan Chang, the JDF wicketkeeper, on 3. This delivery is squeezed out of the offside, and a single is quickly taken by Bennett and Chang, who have really, tried to push along the scoring. Is Bennett. He, however, alone won't be able to do it. He moves on to 42 from 82 deliveries. A silly point and a silly mid-on in place, and a second slip. And this ball is short, and Chang is into the stroke and pulling this one down behind square. The ball is running away. Will it go for 4? It goes across the boundary now. A roar from the crowd celebrating that shot there from Chang. I mean, is that a surprise, Kerry?
That will certainly bring some confidence to Chang, and also it'll bring some confidence to his supporters to say, look, you can be confident in me. I'll be here. I'll be fighting for you. And that ball was a rank long up, and it got the treatment that it deserved to hit. But I'm sure Nikita Miller will want to bounce back. Here he is. And Chang is beaten outside the off stump. That ball pitching just on the line of the off stump and spinning away. And it seemed as though he was in control. Here is Miller to bowl to Chang. And Chang is back and punching this one to the man at short cover. And they don't look for a single. And the score stays on 166 for 6. Up to 12. Here is Miller. And this one is turned away into the onside by Chang. They go through for an easy single. And the score now moves to 167 for the loss of 6 wickets. A lead of 64. Here is Nikita Miller to bowl to Sean Bennett. And Bennett is back and edging past the man at slip. This will hit the fence just about now. It does hit the ropes. And that's 4 more to the JDF cause. It's 171 for the loss of 6. And with that, Sean Bennett, he moves his score now up to 46. And he has been there for some 88 minutes, Sean Johnson. And he has really shown that he has the mettle to try and force his team into a commanding lead. 42 minutes now. Here's Nikita Miller to bowl to Sean Bennett. And Bennett is edging this one, but he played it with soft hands as it went to the man at slips. Here he is, left arm, round the wicket to Bennett, and Bennett is driving. Can't pass Miller, who skips across to his left. A stronger hand and fields. 55 for the loss of 6 wickets here at SABINA Park. And Bennett is back and cutting this one into the offside. They go through for 1. They think about the second. They'll come back for it. Sadiki Bolt sends a strong throw back to Nikita Miller's end, but he can't prevent the run from scoring to 57. Here is Nikita Miller to bowl to Sean Bennett, and Bennett is back and pushing this one into the offside. There was a chance for a single there. It seems as though Chang really wasn't alert. Joseph Palmer, he picked up 5 wickets. Here is Miller, and forward in defense is Sean Bennett. He's on 57. Been there now some some 121 minutes. Here is Miller. I'm sure would love to get the wicket of Bennett here. Bennett is back and punching this one into the stomach of the man at Silimidov. And that's the end of another over. Over number 76 at the end of it. JDF, they're large and in charge here at SABINA Park in this 2017 Senior Cup Finals. And they're 187, loss of 6 wickets. Or a good evening to the man they call Wayne Cuff, all the way in New York City. A man who played many years for the Jamaica Defence Force and also for the Jamaica senior team. Wayne Cuff was a prolific batsman, left-hander, did extremely well. Here is this ball played down to the man at slip.
Christopher Lamont taking out the bowling from the C end, and Bennett is playing defensively to this delivery. The Melbourne fielders are seemingly tired. They are really going through the motions at this point, kind of waiting. Again, we say, a very good day's play here. Big up to our sponsors, Blue Water, Short Time Medical, Ready TV, Power Aid, Pure National Ice, Just Scorpions, KLS Sports, ESPN Radio, who are our neighbors, we should say, Hotel Four Seasons, and one can't forget the stream being brought to you by Juice TV. Again, we're at the Jamaica Cricket Association Senior Cup Finals for 2017. This is being played at SABINA Park, Kingston, Jamaica, between the Jamaica Defence Force, those are the Army men, and the Melbourne Cricket Club, the guys from Courtney Walsh Drive. And 192 for 6, returning some good competition here in this finals of the Senior Cup cricket match. At the wicket is Sean Bennett. He is on 58 from 106 deliveries in partnership with Rohan Chang, who is 15 from 67 deliveries. Scored 38 runs together and are looking to push on. Here is a delivery that went down the leg side. Missed out by Chang and collected by the man at slip. That is an end to the over. Christopher Lamont, another wicketless over for him. He has bowled 19.
Nikita Miller, he will now do battle against Rohan Chang. And Chang is forward as this ball is pushed to the offside and they can't score.
His experience from playing first-class cricket and also playing world cricket, international cricket. This delivery was on the outline of the off stump and left alone by that man Chang. Here is Miller again into bowl to Chang, and this one is on the line of the leg stump, and I'm not sure if Chang got any bat on that delivery. Let's see what the umpire will signal. And it's a leg by, so no bat involved there. However, another single added to the score of the Jamaica Defence Force.
Now looking to try and prize Sean Bennett out. Here he is. And this ball is fired into the middle leg stump, and Sean Bennett turns it behind square. The wicketkeeper goes after it. Did he get any bat on it? It seems he did. Yes, he did. And that now inches his score up to 61. Again, he's been there some 134 minutes. He's faced 113 deliveries for his 61. Here is Nikita Miller, hoping to try and squeeze Chang out. And Chang is forward. And he missed that one altogether. It went on with the arm down the leg side. Well done again by the wicketkeeper in that one. The partnership is 42. This one is flighted, and Chang is not interested in trying to go over the top or to try and beat an infield. That one was just gently flighted to Chang, and Chang pushed it back down the pitch to Nikita Miller.
All the tricks.
Indeed, here he is to bowl to Chang. And Chang is looking to turn this one. The man under the bat was very interested in that one. It almost went to him, but I think Chang played it softly enough, and it bounced just in front of the man under the bat. Here he is at the top of his mark. Comes up now to bowl to Chang, and Chang is looking to whip this one into the onside. He can't beat Mackenzie. Again, very awkward way of fielding, but onto it, whatever he needs to do. Here is Miller to bowl to Chang, who's whipping this one. Behind square, they go for one. Will it make, does it have the legs to go to the fence? Tariq White is after it, and they'll come back for the second. And two more runs added to the total. And that brings up the 200 for Jamaica Defence Force. It's 200 or 494 balls, and it has taken them 257 minutes to get to 200 at leg slip. And Trevon Griffith said slip. Here is Chang, who's forward to Nikita Miller. Can't score. He's not interested, is Chang, in trying to carve out anything special. He's just thinking about survival. Here he is, forward again, and this ball runs to the man at slip, and they can't score. To try and keep their wickets intact, to try and build partnerships. Here is Miller, and this one is left alone outside the off stump by Chang, and again the umpires will meet to discuss what is happening here with the light. And the umpires, as I said before, they have more than enough. They bowled more than enough overs for the day's play. They have another maybe 5 minutes, about maybe 5 minutes of play left in the day.
So
and
the bowler has
the bowler is already at his mark.